Harmful vitamins you're taking that can damage your legs. Have you ever looked down at your legs and thought, why do they feel so weak lately? Or maybe you've been waking up with strange cramps in your calves, aching thighs, or a strange tingling in your feet that wasn't there before. It's easy to brush it off as just getting older, or maybe you think it's because you sat too long or didn't stretch enough. But what if I told you that the very vitamins and supplements you take every morning to stay healthy might actually be the reason your legs are suffering? I know that sounds surprising, maybe even a little upsetting, but you're not alone. So many people over 60, trying their best to support their health, end up taking combinations of vitamins that seem harmless or even beneficial, only to end up feeling worse over time. And the tricky part? These problems don't happen overnight. They sneak up slowly. A little numbness here. A little stiffness there. Until suddenly, walking becomes harder, and standing for too long feels impossible. The connection between what's going on in your supplement cabinet and what's going on in your legs might not seem obvious, but once you see the full picture, it's hard to unsee it. In this video, we're going to have a real, down-to-earth conversation about the vitamins and supplements that could be quietly causing problems in your legs. Everything from muscle cramps and joint pain to swelling and even nerve damage. We'll also talk about how to recognize the warning signs, and more importantly, what you can do to protect yourself, because you deserve to feel strong, steady, and confident when you stand up and move. Let's start with a big one that's often misunderstood, vitamin B6. Now, at first glance, B6 sounds like something your body should love. It's in lots of multivitamins and energy blends, and it helps with everything from brain function to immune support. But here's where it gets tricky. Too much B6, especially in supplement form, can actually damage the nerves in your legs. That's right. It can cause something called peripheral neuropathy, which leads to that tingling, burning, or pins and needles feeling in your feet and calves. It can even lead to muscle weakness or balance issues. And the thing is, many people don't realize they're taking too much. B6 is often hidden in multiple supplements. A multivitamin might have some. A nerve support pill might have even more. A mood booster could be loaded with it too. Before you know it, you're taking 3 or 4 times the safe amount every single day. And here's the frustrating part, your doctor might not mention it because vitamin toxicity isn't the first thing most people look for when they're dealing with leg pain. But once B6 builds up in your system, it doesn't just wash away overnight. It can take weeks, or months, for your body to recover, and the damage to your nerves can be hard to reverse if it's gone too far. If your legs feel numb or tingly, or if you've started tripping more often than you used to, it's worth checking how much B6 you're really getting. Sometimes, the first step toward relief is as simple as reevaluating what you're putting in your body each day. Another supplement that often flies under the radar is vitamin E. Now, we've all heard that vitamin E is good for the skin and helps with inflammation. And yes, in the right amount, it can be beneficial. But in high doses, especially for older adults, vitamin E can actually interfere with your blood's ability to clot. Why does this matter for your legs? Well, it increases the risk of bruising, swelling, and even internal bleeding, especially in the lower limbs. Some seniors who take high doses of vitamin E daily report unexplained leg pain or bruising that just won't go away. And sometimes, they're told it's just thin skin or fragile veins, when in reality, the problem is being caused, or worsened, by what they're taking every morning. The tricky thing is, vitamin E is also added to many supplements marketed toward anti-aging or heart health, so it's easy to go overboard without even realizing it. And if you're also on blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin, combining those with too much vitamin E can really set you up for trouble. You might notice swelling around the ankles, sore spots on the legs that seem to come out of nowhere, or bruises that just don't seem to heal. These are all subtle signs that your body might be trying to tell you something. The good news is, once you identify the culprit and scale back, your legs can begin to recover. Sometimes, less really is more. And then there's calcium. Yes, calcium. The supplement that's supposed to help with strong bones. And don't get me wrong, calcium is important. Especially for women over 60, when bone loss becomes a real concern. But here's what's not often talked about: calcium supplements, especially when taken in excess or without the proper balance of magnesium and vitamin D, can actually lead to leg cramps, stiffness, and even contribute to artery calcification. That means the very supplement you're taking to protect your bones might be making your legs feel tight and heavy, or even increasing your risk for circulation issues. You see, calcium doesn't just go to your bones. If it's not properly absorbed, it can deposit in soft tissues, like the walls of your blood vessels. And when this happens in your legs, it can make it harder for blood to flow properly. That means more swelling, aching, and a higher risk for things like varicose veins and leg fatigue. You might notice that your legs feel like they're dragging behind you when you walk, or that your knees just won't bend like they used to. These are signs that something deeper could be going on, something that starts with what's going in your mouth. So before reaching for that extra calcium chew or that high-dose multivitamin, it's worth asking, am I getting too much of a good thing? Are my supplements working with my body or against it? Now that we've started looking at how certain vitamins like B6, E, and calcium can quietly create leg problems, we can begin to connect the dots even more. Now, let's keep going, because there's another group of supplements that often seem like they're doing us a favor, but can quietly mess with how our legs feel, and that's iron. Iron gets a lot of praise, especially when we talk about fighting fatigue or low energy. And yes, if you've been diagnosed with iron deficiency anemia, then taking iron under the guidance of your doctor can absolutely be necessary. But for many people, especially those over 60 who aren't actually deficient, taking extra iron every day can do more harm than good. Too much iron can build up in the body, leading to a condition called iron overload. And what a lot of folks don't realize is that excess iron doesn't just sit there quietly. It promotes inflammation, particularly in joints and soft tissues, including the legs. That can show up as soreness, swelling, or even a heavy, achy feeling in your thighs and calves. Some people describe it like their legs feel stiff, almost rusty, like it takes more effort than usual just to move. That might sound dramatic, but if you've ever felt that dragging sensation, like your legs are 2 steps behind the rest of your body, iron might be worth investigating. Even more concerning is that high iron levels can damage your blood vessels over time. When your veins and arteries in your legs get inflamed or start to stiffen, circulation suffers. You might notice your feet and ankles swelling more than usual, or your legs getting cold even when it's warm out. And while these symptoms might not seem directly tied to vitamins at first glance, when you realize how much iron is hidden in supplements, especially energy boosters or women's formulas, it becomes clearer. Now let's talk about magnesium. You might be surprised to hear magnesium on this list, because most people associate it with relaxation, sleep, or easing muscle cramps. And that's all true if you're getting the right amount. But there's a twist here. If you're already taking a multivitamin, plus an over-the-counter leg cramp supplement, plus maybe something for sleep or stress, guess what? You could be loading your body with way more magnesium than it needs. And when your magnesium levels get too high, it can throw off the balance of other minerals in your system, especially calcium and potassium. When that happens, your muscles, especially in your legs, can start acting up. Some people experience sudden, sharp cramps that seem to come out of nowhere. Others feel weakness or a weird sensation like their muscles just don't have the same strength they used to. It's confusing because magnesium is supposed to help, right? But again, the issue isn't magnesium itself, it's the overload, and the way it interacts with everything else you're taking. And speaking of interactions, one of the most misunderstood issues as we age is how supplements interact with each other, and with medications. Take potassium, for example. Low potassium can cause serious muscle problems, but guess what? Taking too much potassium, especially when it's not medically necessary, can also create issues. It can mess with your heartbeat, cause swelling in your lower legs, or even bring on that uncomfortable twitching feeling in your calves. And if you're already on certain blood pressure medications or diuretics, potassium supplements can become risky very quickly. It's like walking a tightrope. Too little, and your legs cramp up. Too much, and your legs feel like they're being pulled down by invisible weights. It's frustrating, and many people don't realize the delicate balance their bodies are trying to maintain, while they're adding vitamin after vitamin, just trying to feel better. This is where the idea of more is better really starts to backfire. We've been taught to believe that taking a handful of supplements each morning is just part of staying healthy, especially as we age. But your body isn't just a storage locker for pills, it's a finely tuned machine. And if something gets out of balance, especially with your vitamins and minerals, your legs are often one of the first places you'll feel it. They carry you, they move you, they support you. So it makes sense that they're going to tell you when something's not right. Now, I want to pause for a moment and say something important. This isn't about fear. This isn't about throwing all your supplements away or being scared of vitamins. This is about awareness. It's about realizing that your body is speaking to you, and your legs, whether they're aching, cramping, swelling, or just feeling off, are often trying to say, "Hey, I need some attention here." And sometimes, giving your body that attention means stepping back and taking a closer look at the pills you're popping every day. Because here's the truth, when your legs hurt, your whole life changes. Walking becomes harder. Gardening feels like a chore. Even standing at the stove to cook a meal can become exhausting. But when you start peeling back the layers and identifying the hidden triggers, like vitamin overload or imbalances, you open the door to real relief. And here's something else I want to share. If you've ever felt dismissed by a doctor, a friend, or even yourself, because your leg symptoms didn't seem serious enough, I want you to know that your experience matters. Your discomfort matters. And no, it's not just in your head or part of getting old. There are real, fixable reasons behind those strange sensations in your legs. And every single step you take to understand your body better is a step toward feeling stronger, steadier, and more in control. We're not done yet. There are still a few more supplements that deserve a closer look, some that might shock you, especially if you've been taking them for years. One of the biggest surprises for many people is how something as simple and widely accepted as calcium can sometimes be the culprit behind leg issues. Yes, calcium, the mineral everyone says we need more of after 60. It's plastered all over commercials, sitting front and center in most multivitamins, and doctors have been recommending it for years to protect our bones. But here's the thing nobody talks about enough: calcium isn't always your friend. Especially not when it's taken in excess or in the wrong form. When there's too much calcium floating around in your system, your body doesn't always know what to do with it. So instead of helping your bones, that extra calcium can settle in places it shouldn't, like your blood vessels, your joints, and yes, your leg muscles. This is called calcification, and it's way more common than you might think in people over 60. It can make your legs feel stiff, heavy, or even painful. And it's sneaky, because most people blame those symptoms on aging, arthritis, or just a bad leg day. But it's not always that simple. You might start noticing that you're waking up with cramps in the middle of the night, or that your calves tighten up after walking just a few blocks. Maybe your knees feel like they're locking up when you try to stand, or your legs feel like they just don't move as easily as they used to. And when this happens, most folks don't think to question their calcium supplements. After all, they're supposed to help, right? But without enough magnesium, vitamin K2, or proper hydration, calcium can start piling up in all the wrong places. It's like adding concrete to your plumbing; it clogs up the system. And when that happens in your legs, you'll know it. The stiffness, the swelling, the loss of flexibility, it's all connected. Even more concerning is when calcium supplements are combined with other vitamins in ways that just don't sit well with your body. Many bone health or senior blend vitamins throw in calcium, vitamin D, and sometimes iron, all in one tablet. That sounds efficient, but it can be overwhelming for your system, especially if you're also getting those nutrients from food or other pills. And that brings us to another silent troublemaker, vitamin D. Now, this one can be tricky because most people think of vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin, something your body absolutely needs, and that's true. Vitamin D is essential. It supports your immune system, helps with mood, and yes, it helps your bones absorb calcium. But just like everything else we've talked about, too much can tip the scales in the wrong direction. When vitamin D levels are too high, especially from supplements, it can cause calcium levels in your blood to rise too much. And remember what we just talked about? That extra calcium has to go somewhere. So now you've got double trouble, vitamin D pushing more calcium into your system, and not enough magnesium or vitamin K2 to guide it to your bones where it belongs. That's a recipe for leg pain, stiffness, and cramping. Some people even describe their legs feeling tight or wired, almost like their muscles can't relax. Others feel a burning sensation in their thighs or calves, especially after sitting or lying down for too long. These are the kinds of symptoms that don't always get taken seriously, but they're your body's way of waving a red flag. And here's something else to think about. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means your body stores it, unlike vitamin C or B vitamins, which just get flushed out if there's too much. So if you're taking high doses every day, and your diet includes fortified foods where you spend a lot of time in the sun, you could be slowly building up toxic levels without even knowing it. It doesn't happen overnight. But over weeks or months, the effects start to show up, and your legs are often one of the first places to suffer. Now let's talk about another unexpected player in all of this, vitamin B6. You've probably seen it in stress formulas, energy pills, or nerve health supplements. It's marketed as something that helps with brain fog, mood, and even leg cramps. But, and this is a big but, when B6 is taken in high doses for long periods, it can actually cause nerve damage. Yes, you heard that right. Too much vitamin B6 can damage your nerves. And when that happens, the symptoms can be downright scary. Tingling in your feet. A burning or pins and needles feeling in your legs. Weakness or a weird sense that your legs aren't connecting with your brain quite right. Some people describe it as feeling like their feet are asleep all the time, or like they're walking on cotton. And guess what? These symptoms often get mistaken for neuropathy or circulation problems, when the real issue might be lurking in your supplement drawer. The worst part is that these symptoms can creep in slowly. You might start feeling a little more clumsy or unstable on your feet. Maybe you trip more than usual or start avoiding stairs because your legs just don't feel reliable. And unless someone connects the dots, you could end up thinking it's just part of aging, when really it's a completely preventable issue. If you've been taking a B-complex or a nerve health vitamin every day, and your legs have been acting strange, it's worth checking the label. Some of these pills pack in hundreds or even thousands of % of your daily recommended amount of B6. And while they're allowed to do that legally, your body wasn't designed to handle that kind of overload day after day. This is why it's so important to take a step back and really look at everything you're putting into your body, not just prescription meds, but the vitamins, supplements, and natural products that seem harmless on the surface. Because when your legs are sore, cramping, twitching, or weak, it's not just annoying. It's your body trying to tell you something isn't right. And sometimes, the answer isn't another pill, it's less of the wrong ones. You deserve to walk strong. You deserve to stand tall. And you deserve to feel confident in your body again. These leg symptoms you're experiencing? They're not just part of getting older. They're signs. And they're asking for your attention. Let's keep listening. Now, here's where it all comes together. We've talked about how too much of certain vitamins, like E, D, calcium, and B6, can quietly cause problems in your legs. But there's one more hidden danger I want to touch on. It's something a lot of people over 60 take every day, often because they've been told it helps their heart or circulation. And that's iron. Now, iron is important, no doubt about that. It helps carry oxygen through your blood, supports energy levels, and prevents anemia. But here's the catch, after 60, unless you've been specifically diagnosed with an iron deficiency, your body usually doesn't need nearly as much of it as most supplements provide. In fact, many multivitamins still contain iron, even though iron overload is a real concern for older adults. And here's how that connects to your legs. Too much iron can build up in your tissues, including the muscles and nerves in your legs. That buildup causes something called oxidative stress. Basically, it's like rust forming inside your body, it creates inflammation, damages cells, and can even mess with your circulation. The result? You guessed it. Tired, achy legs. Cramps that won't go away. And a sense of heaviness or sluggishness in your lower body that just seems to hang around no matter how well you eat or how much you stretch. And it's sneaky, because a lot of people think more iron means more energy, but if your levels are already fine, adding more just ends up doing harm. If you've ever taken an iron supplement and noticed your legs feel tight, or your joints ache more than usual, or even that you bruise more easily, it might be your body waving a big red flag. This is why it's so important to get your iron levels checked before taking supplements. Because once that iron builds up, it's not easy to flush out. Your body holds onto it. And your legs, especially the muscles and blood vessels, can end up paying the price. It's another case of too much of a good thing turning into a bad thing, especially when it comes to aging bodies. And that's really the theme here, isn't it? Most of these vitamins and minerals aren't evil. They serve a purpose. They're essential in the right amounts. But when taken in excess, or without proper balance, they stop helping and start hurting. And for those of us over 60, our bodies don't process things the same way they used to. What worked in our 40s might not work now. And sometimes, the very supplements we're taking to stay strong and healthy are the ones quietly stealing our strength. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with power. The power to take a fresh look at the bottles in our cabinet. The power to ask questions and not just take something because the label says for seniors. The power to speak to a doctor or pharmacist and say, "Hey, do I actually need this?" And most of all, the power to listen to our bodies. If your legs have been acting up lately, feeling weaker, tighter, crampier, or just plain off, it might be time to stop and rethink what you're putting in. The answer might not be more pills. It might be less. Or better. Or different. But the good news is, you're in charge of that. You get to choose what goes in. And you get to take steps that protect your legs, your strength, and your independence. Because at the end of the day, strong legs aren't just about walking. They're about living. They're about dancing with your grandkids. Getting up without struggling. Taking the stairs when the elevator's too crowded. Standing tall with confidence. And yes, even feeling proud of your body, exactly as it is, at any age. So let this video be your reminder, your legs matter. And what you put in your body matters, too. Take a little time today to check those labels. Ask a few questions. Maybe even bring your vitamins to your next checkup and talk it through. You've earned the right to feel strong, mobile, and pain-free. And if you've had any experiences with leg pain, supplements, or just trying to figure out what works for your body, please share your story in the comments. Someone else might be going through the same thing, and your words could make a big difference for them. We're all in this together. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps more people see this kind of content. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tip that could help you stay healthy, strong, and feeling your best. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Remember, you deserve to feel good in your body, to move without pain, and to live your life to the fullest. Here's to healthy legs, smart choices, and the power to age with strength and confidence. See you in the next video. Take care, and keep walking strong.